As a business owner, there are times when you only want to contract someone for a certain task without having to hire the person as an employee. If you are not a business owner, you might want to occasionally take on other jobs or try yourself in a completely different field. But what is the solution to this?
Welcome to the Business Lessons in Denmark podcast. My name is Edina Bohos, and I am here with my colleague Katalin Balog. We are owners of Cool Accounts APS, a Danish accounting office. Hi, Kati. How was your last week?
It was good enough.
Okay, sounds good. In our first two podcast episodes, we dealt with the characteristic of a business and employee. But there is also a third form of working called freelancer. When and how can I be a freelancer, Kati?
When you are a freelancer, then you do not take financial risks, which would be typical of a business. In other words, you only provide your work, but on an occasional basis, and therefore you would get a fee for your work. There are certain professions where this type of working is very common. For example, musicians, when they are playing a gig, or actors, for example, when Mads Mikkelsen starts in the film another round, or writers, translators, if they translate a cookbook, for example, or journalists, they also often work as freelancers, like when they write a newspaper article about the sleeping habits of rats.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, or speakers who hold a lecture, for example, like when Martin Torborg gives a motivational speech to all 7-Eleven store managers and so on. So these kind of activities are usually occasional. So the work that you do is occasional. The person maintains his independence. There is no subordinate relationship between you and your employer or the person who hired you for the job. So you are not an employee, but you don't necessarily have a business either for your activity.
Okay, now this list was mostly with intellectual activities, but we often come across cases where someone does occasional cleaning or window cleaning and is not hired as an employee, but he gets paid a fee.
Yeah.
Would this be still all right?
Yes, it's still fine. Not only people doing intellectual work or artistic work can be freelancers.
Okay. So as you already mentioned, it's more the occasional nature that indicates that it's a freelancer activity.
Yeah, exactly. And that there is not such a close relationship as when there is an employer-employee.
So not this boss and junior relationship.
Exactly. Often a person has a full-time job or a full-time business, but occasionally on the side, he does some other kind of jobs. For example, I'm a full-time nurse, but sometimes I take some cleaning jobs occasionally. And then on that relation, I'm actually a freelancer. I take these jobs as a freelancer.
Okay. And the not such a close relationship can mean that, for example, a journalist has a deadline to write an article, but he decides whether to write the article 2 hours before the deadline or 2 weeks before the deadline. So do I understand correctly?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, this is also part of it, that you are independent. When you are a
Okay.
freelancer, your independence is much higher than
Mm-hmm.
with
Okay.
an employee.
Okay, good. And on the other hand, if I, as a freelance cleaner, clean the same offices for the same May contractor every month, then that's not really this freelancer category, right?
That's right.
Hmm.
It's more like an employee relation.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's very important to see the differences between business owner, employee, and freelancer.
exactly.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yes.
So then we can state that occasional jobs can be done as a freelancer. So if I mow the neighbor's lawn sometimes, I can get a fee for that. But there is a 50,000 crowns limit here. What is that?
Yeah, right. So you can get a fee as a freelancer
Mhm.
occasionally, but you have to know that there is this law or rule that if your income will reach 50,000 crowns in 12 consecutive months, then you have to register your activity for VAT. Under this limit, you can do it without VAT.
Mhm.
But if you will reach the 50,000 in 12 months, then you have to register for the VAT. And then basically that means that you have to open your business.
Mhm. Okay, so does it mean that I sometimes clean apartments for my brother's cleaning business? And until now, I worked as a freelancer for him, but now he can give me so much work that I will earn more than 50,000 kron in a year. Do I have to open my own cleaning business?
Depends. If you would like to go in this direction, that you would like to create a real business, get another client, and so on, then yes, you
Mm-hmm.
will have to open a business and register your activity for the VAT.
Mm-hmm.
But if you only work for your brother and you want to work more than this 50,000, but you don't want to have a real business, that you don't want to do promotions, you don't want to buy your tools, you don't want to have many clients and so on,
Mm-hmm.
then your brother has to hire you
Mm-hmm.
as an
As an
employee.
employee. Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
you will have to continue this work relationship as an employee,
Mm-hmm.
because as a freelancer without VAT registration, you can only do it like with the small jobs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and when do I have to register for the VAT? Before I reach this amount, or it's enough if I reach this amount and after I just register for
Definitely
VAT?
before.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely before, because if you go over the limit, then you will have to pay the VAT all the way back from zero.
Aye, so we have to be smart with that and not
Yeah,
reach this amount of money.
yeah. So when you
Okay.
already see that you will reach the 50,000,
Mm-hmm.
even when you haven't,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to do the registration for the
Wow.
VAT if
Okay.
you really want to go in this area, that you
Direction. Yeah.
want to develop a
Mm-hmm.
business.
Ah, okay. Good to know. Super. So, to summarize this, there are certain professions and activities which are naturally this freelance type. But in addition to this, ad hoc, occasional work can also be done as a freelancer. Do I understand correctly?
Yeah. So basically, if your activity is naturally a freelancer type activity, and yeah, then you are a freelancer.
Mm?
But I would advise that if your income will be higher than 50,000, then you check this with the tax of agency.
Mm-hmm.
So you contact them and get a confirmation about that, yes, you are a freelancer. Even though your income will be more than 50,000, you can continue this activity without putting VAT on your invoices.
Okay, so if I have this approval from the tax agency, I won't have any problem in the
Yes,
future,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
Okay.
But if you are doing a type of activity which could also be basically a business, for example, you do cleaning, or you, I don't know, you do multi-service, or you are a bricklayer, or I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
you are a cosmetologist, or you are a master, or whatever. Um, and until now, you only did occasional jobs as a freelancer, but suddenly the whole thing is starting to be bigger. The
Mm-hmm.
whole game is getting bigger, and your income will be more than 50,000 in 12 consecutive months. Then you will have to open the business and register for VAT.
Mm-hmm. And what if I just would like to try to do something else? So, for example, if I am a cleaner, but I want to do another job and I want to try another thing, can I do it as a freelancer?
Yeah, you can do it as a freelancer as long as this activity is just a side activity
Mm-hmm.
and your income from this will not reach 50,000. You can do it, then you can do it without VAT, and you then will do it as a freelancer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see. So, and what is the advantage for me as a business owner if I want to use a freelancer?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the advantage is that you can try someone out for a short, for one job,
Mm-hmm.
for an occasional job, or for a short period of time.
For example, so I need some replacement or
Yeah,
something like that. Mm-hmm.
yeah, for a one-time
Mm-hmm.
task without having to hire them and go through all those administrative tasks
Process,
that
yeah.
and process we have
Mm-hmm.
talked about earlier. Yeah,
Okay, so actually, it's a very good opportunity to use freelancers for
yeah,
different kind of jobs that can be a short period, right?
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. You just have to know the rules.
Mm-hmm. Okay. In our last two podcasts, we talked about businesses and employees, and now we have talked about the freelancer. But if someone realizes that he's not working the correct form, for example, I have a clinic business, but I only work for one big client, and I don't buy materials, tools, and anything. So what can I do?
Well, you can do two things. Either you become a real business. So you say you have a cleaning
Mm,
business, but not
it's
really.
not really a
Yeah,
business.
not really. So
Yeah.
you have to become a real business.
Hmm.
You have to get more clients. You have to do some promotion. You have to start buying your own materials and use your own tools and so on. Like, do all those things that we talked about in our first
Hmm.
podcast. This
Yeah.
is one way of
Hmm.
handling it. The
Okay.
other is that you have to persuade the person you are working for to hire you as an
Hmm.
employee, because you are, in fact, an employee.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will be dangerous for both of you.
Hmm.
And we talked about the dangers
Yes,
before.
I remember.
Yeah.
Uh, if after listening to the podcast you wondered what you really are, a business owner, an employee, or a freelancer, and you want to find out, we have prepared a free test for this, which we will send you if you write a message to our Facebook page, Cool Accounts. This will help you decide which category you really belong to.
Yeah, and if you feel like it, then write us what the result was. We are very interested.
Yeah,
And also, if you need help to proceed in opening your business, you are welcome to contact us, and
of
we can
course.
help you.
And if you are still employed but have come to the conclusion that you really want to open a business, in our next podcast, we will tell you what the next logical step is.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, many people neglect this step, even though it's a very important to be successful.
Hmm. Well, you have piqued my curiosity. I will definitely be here.
Great! So, today's episode was sponsored by Cool Accounts APS. Cool Accounts APIs can help with starting your company with bookkeeping and tax matters. In addition, we also provide business and financial consulting. If you like the show, then follow us and like our Facebook page. If you would like to contact us, you can do so via our website www.accounts.cool. We wish you a successful week.